Hello beautiful, you are welcome to Claribel Health Hub. In today's discussion, we are looking further into the myths of breast cancer. Over the years, there has been a lot of debate, arguments. In fact, with our previous discussion on myths of breast cancer in association with the use of antiperspirant, roll-ons, and deodorants, a few individuals have pushed me to come up to say what I think. Seriously, to be on the safer side, I think it would be more appropriate for us to say at this time, once the research is not conclusive whether it is okay to use antiperspirant roll-ons after you have shaved or not, and then they really cannot pinpoint the fact that antiperspirant roll-ons and deodorants can really predispose one to breast cancer. For me, it's better to err on caution that as and when you have shaved and you want to use a roll-on, to be on the safer side. For me, I don't. So I would also recommend the same, that after you have shaved, let's say within the first 24-48 hours after you're shaving, especially the private part, please do well not to use roll-ons and deodorants. We can go for other things like the talcum powder, which at a point was also being incriminated as a carcinogen agent, and then a lot of people were all scared about these things. To be on the safer side, I recommend that let us not put things that have been suspected to be carcinogens or have been caused one or two or have been pinpointed as one of the things that can lead to a breast cancer out. Seriously speaking, cancers as at now do not have a direct cause, so scientifically we call them idiopathics. However, let us do well to stick to moderation in everything we do and doing what is healthier. We know it's better to prevent than to treat. And I usually say, with prevention, you don't have complications. But with treatment, it may come with side effects and its own complications. In our discussion today, we are looking at other things, myths that are, we will say, hearsays or traditional stories that we use to explain natural or social phenomenon, typically involving supernaturals, involvement in events and other things. So with breast cancer, over the years, we have come to believe that anytime you find a lump in your breast, it means, or it is an indication that you have breast cancer. This is what the findings have come up with. Findings has given us that it is not all lumps that we find in our breast that are cancerous or that can be termed as cancers. Yes, sometimes we call them all as growths, but then there are some growths that are not cancerous. I mean, there are some growths that we can find in our breast that are really not cancers. But then you cannot just sit in your home and determine what is and what is not. So as soon as you find these kind of lumps, report immediately to the nearest health facility for the appropriate care. However, various scientific studies have proven that among all lumps that can be found in the breast, only a small percentage can be cancerous. Discovering lump in your breast or noticing any change in the breast and its tissue must be reported immediately for assessment. The other way we'll be able to tell what is or what is not is doing regular breast self-examination, giving yourself the breast examination. And how is it done? Breast examination, we have recommended in one of our previous videos that do well as much as you can to do it yourself precisely a day after your menses have stopped. So let's say you menstruate for 5 days, the 6th day you can do it. For those who are around the perimenopause and menopause, You take a particular time of the month. Let's say every 5th of every month, you are going to give yourself self-breast examination. And let's be sincere to ourselves and be truthful. Let this not be one of the goals and aspirations we give for a year, and we start for the first 2-3 months, then the rest, we forget about them. Let's work it throughout the year so that we'll be able to capture some of these things early enough. The second point, it has been estimated that about 2,190 men who will be diagnosed with breast cancer, 410 or 18% will die from it. It is also said that there are more men who will die from breast cancer than women. Why? Because when it comes to breast cancer itself, in relation to men, most of the time the awareness is low. Why? Because the focus has been on women. But in latter years, the focus has been on both sexes. Why? Because men have been coming down with breast cancers. Unfortunately, those who come, quite a number of them passes on than if it was a woman, because they will only see this kind of cancers or lumps when they have really advanced. But if we are all taking part and giving ourselves breast examination from time to time, as men, as women, we will be able to see these changes early and report for appropriate treatment and management. I want us to note this, that breast cancer in men has a higher mortality, like I have already said. And then breast cancer does not only affect women, but it does also affect men. Another myth that goes around our neighborhood, our friends, our own family is that if you have a family history of breast cancer, you are likely to develop breast cancer too. Unfortunately, while women who have a family history of breast cancer are at a higher risk, does not mean that they will come down with breast cancer. It is also believed that as many of first blood relations who have breast cancers, there is a higher tendency that we will come down. Statistically, only 10% of individuals diagnosed with breast cancers have a family history of breast cancer. This is data, scientific data. Let's note this. And for some of us, because it means that a greater number of people who are diagnosed with breast cancers are people who do not have any relation or relative has ever come down with a breast cancer. Which means that for some of us, especially those of us who consider ourselves as in the low risk, we might not really give much attention to ourselves when it comes to breast cancers and its education. But then we passively see others and we see it like it is for them, not for us. Let's do well and get involved. Let's take the lessons we can for ourselves and share it with other friends, share it with other relations, so that we can all be aware and abreast with what is going on around us. Some also say that breast cancer is contagious. When we say breast cancer is contagious, means that if somebody has the cancer, a breast cancer, and I touch the person, or I touch the breast which is affected, I will also be affected with breast cancer. Or that if I'm living, sleeping with, eating with, relating to somebody who has breast cancer, I'm going to get breast cancer. Another myth that goes on around us is that breast cancer is contagious. Interestingly, no one can transfer or catch breast cancer from another person's body. Why do I say this? Because breast cancer is usually as a result of mutation or genetic changes that take place within the cells of the breast tissue. And then if it's said that if you have a risk, you could be predisposed to. It does not necessarily mean that as far as I know somebody who had breast cancer means I also get breast cancer. No, please. What we can do is for those who are at a higher risk of breast cancer, can reduce their risk by choosing healthy lifestyles. And in healthy lifestyles, I know we have a video already talking about it, like eating healthy, well-balanced diet, taking enough water, exercising, adding regular exercise to your daily lifestyle, avoiding sedentary lifestyle, and then you do regular breast examinations. And then if you are scheduled for mammograms, you'll be able to go for your mammogram anytime, so that you'll be able to be abreast and keep yourself in a good shape all the time, reducing your risk for breast cancer. Or if it's okay at all, the earlier we are able to identify, the better. But no matter the stage in which you will find yourself, let us look through our hands in despair. Let us avail ourselves for care. Report at appropriate healthcare facility for treatment. Somebody will say, what do I mean by appropriate healthcare facility? I mean the nearest healthcare facility to you should be the first point of call, where you'll be then, if there is the need, be transferred or referred to the appropriate facility for the continuation of management. However, for those who are in the diaspora, in Europe, America, Asia, what you can do for now will be follow the protocols within your nation or your state, and I believe all will be sorted. Another myth that goes on around us is that if you have a gene mutation of BRCA1 or BRCA2 in your gene or in your DNA, you will definitely develop breast cancer. BRCA1 and BRCA2 are some of the genes that has been pinpointed as leading to breast changes, which could easily lead to breast cancer. Regarding families who are known to carry BRCA1 and BRCA2 mutation, not every woman who have these genes will come down with breast cancer. Why? Because some of these BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes could be harmful. Not to everybody, could be. So there is a chance. Does not mean that the person will surely come down. And then not every cancer in such families is linked to a harmful mutation in one of these genes as asserted by the National Cancer Institute. Let's be aware. Let us not go chasing our medical officers and physicians trying to know our DNA and all of it, unless there is a need for us to do that. However, if this is your concern, I think with the financial capability and all the support you can, why not? You can surely go for it. Other facts that we need to know when it comes to breast cancer is that about 285,500 new cases of invasive cancer will be diagnosed in the US alone, with 51,400 new cases of non-invasive breast cancer. 65% of breast cancer cases are diagnosed at a localized stage, with a 5-year relative survival rate of 99%. It was estimated in 2021 that 43,550 women will die from breast cancer in the US alone. Although rare, men do get breast cancer. 1.8 women in the US will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. It was however estimated for 2022 that 30% of all women diagnosed with cancer will be breast cancer, because it is the second most common among women. There are over 3.8 million breast cancer survivors in the US alone. On average, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer every 2 minutes in the US. Unfortunately, in a part of the world, we don't have much data to talk about ourselves as Africans. However, because we have relations and characteristics like that look like the Black American, or we are related some way somehow, so it is usually taken that whatever data appears to them could also happen to us. However, we have environmental differences. The other thing we must also notice that In recent years, the survival from breast cancer has increased and awareness is ongoing. Let us not just wait till October before we all give our support and put in our best and remind ourselves of breast cancer. Let it be a regular awareness, and then as much as you and I can, let's do well to do breast examination. Yes, how do we do breast examination? Let's go to that in our next episode. So for today, just a reminder. Last week when we were watching our video, you promised to subscribe. You haven't yet. Could you please do that for us? And then we would love that you share this video if it has benefited you, not only, but with family and friends and all other relatives you can have, so that we all benefit. Thank you.